Hi, everyone. Darren Lynch, founder and CEO of Irish Titan, here with another whiskey shot. And today we're lucky enough to have Greg Ahneman from ShipStation/Octane, and he can talk a little bit more about that. He's repping like he works for Irish Titan with that green shirt that is the exact color of some of our shirts. So, Greg, that's appreciated, unnecessary, but appreciated. Why don't you share with everyone a little bit about what you do and your background?
Absolutely. So I guess before I dive into that, just want to say thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. We're looking forward to continuing to support Ecomm Forum. Happy to be here on this whiskey shot, and we appreciate your partnership throughout all the years.
Thanks for that, Greg. I guess before you chime in, I'll just bounce off of that a little bit. ShipStation is one of our longest standing partners, one of the partners that we feel like first invested in Irish Titan and started to believe in us. And that stuff matters to me. So thanks to you and the team. We have a lot of strong relationships there and a lot of history. So thanks for that.
Absolutely. Our pleasure. And I guess a little bit about me. So yes, my name is Greg Ahneman. I head the Octane Alliance Partner Program. Octane is the parent company of ShipStation, which is our flagship product. I've been with Octane for a little over 2 years at this point. And again, very excited to be here.
Good, good. Well, I think what we're going to cover today is how delivery, that experience with shipping and fulfillment relates to one of the most common analogies in our space when we're talking with prospects and merchants about how to view their e-commerce channel. And that analogy is building your e-commerce channel is like building a house, right?
Correct.
How you scope it, how you phase it, how you prioritize things, how there are certain considerations that are external, like what things look like from the street with the house, certain considerations that are a little more fundamental, like what the plumbing and electrical looks like,
Right.
and how that all works together. And I think that analogy gets used a lot in our space. And so let's dig around on that a little bit. I know you have some ideas, so I won't tee it up any more than that. And I'll turn the floor over to you for you to share how what ShipStation does and what you're exposed to flows into that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess to start a little bit about ShipStation, we are a web-based shipping software that helps businesses streamline their shipping operations, provide a centralized platform for managing orders from various e-com platforms like Shopify, BigCommerce, so on, as well as marketplaces like eBay, Amazon, Etsy, Walmart, and so on, shopping carts, fulfillment centers too. We also integrate with all of the major carriers like UPS, USPS, FedEx, DHL, and really allow our users to, compare shipping rates, print shipping labels, track shipments, and then automate various shipping tasks. So to simplify it all, we optimize your shipping operations and kind of take over that back office piece of the e-commerce of your e-commerce business, helping you save time, reduce errors, improve customer satisfaction, all through ensuring a timely and efficient delivery fulfillment process.
Right. And so when we think of that building a house, how do those operations that you just described, how would you compare the e-commerce experience with those to that building a house analogy?
So yes, so to kind of keep in line with that analogy that we've been talking a lot about, if you were to build a house from the ground up, you would want to start with the foundation, right? And shipping is one of those foundational pieces for an e-com business. Without it, the business simply won't function. And it doesn't matter how amazing your product is. It doesn't matter if you've got the best SEO in the world and you've got all the tools to convert customers when they're on your site. And you've got the most amazing loyalty and reviews program afterwards. It simply doesn't matter if you're unable to get your product to your customer. And it's also an area that could make or break an e-commerce business depending on how you execute it. So yes, managing the delivery experience is crucial to running a successful e-commerce operation.
Yeah, and I think that there's some business common sense, if you will, that would support how valuable that is, right? Like, I think that it's sort of self-evident that it's one thing and it's important to have a good-looking site and good product and have a strong brand. But it's
Yeah.
equally as important in common sense that you got to provide that customer a good experience with getting the product, good customer service, good product quality, good shipping and fulfillment experience, et cetera,
Yes.
right? So I think that notion has been present for a long time, right? I think
Yes.
beyond that, though, more recently, some of the changes in the industry are reinforcing to an even greater degree how valuable that post-purchase experience is, because customer acquisition is becoming more expensive with privacy changes, right? And so if you think of marketing funnel in a very simplified way with acquisition, conversion, and retention, acquisition's becoming more and more expensive, which means conversion and retention are where there's a shift toward investing into those two. And I think that the shipping experience, the fulfillment experience helps reinforce less so conversion, but retention, right? Because it's going to be tough to maximize retention if they have a bad experience post-purchase,
Absolutely.
right?
So yeah, you hit the nail on the head, and there's a lot of things that go into that post-purchase experience. And believe it or not, shipping does factor into
Mm-hmm.
the conversion element as well. And I prepared a few data points
Oh, good.
for this based off of a study that we conducted, I think last month, or we got all the results in last month. It's our 2023 benchmark report. And then one of the first stats that stood out to me was that 41% of customers said that shipping costs are the most important factor when considering, or when making a purchasing decision. And then 61% of those consumers indicated that high shipping costs would make them less likely to shop with the brand. So when it comes to the conversion piece, understanding that element and then
True.
maybe preparing for it in advance will help with that conversion. And that could mean offering free or discounted shipping based off of order value above 150, or simply just factoring in the shipping costs into the overall price of that product. So that is one element, but after all that's done, that's really where I guess the magic is happening, and that's where you can win a customer for life, or you could lose them very quickly. And with that, I would say that communication is key. In that same report, we found that 43% of consumers wanted daily communication on updates, while another 37% said, yes, communicate with me daily, but only with very pertinent updates. So things like your order is shipped, it's in transit, it's out for delivery, and it's delivered. What wasn't in there, but that I would add was, delayed shipment notifications.
Right.
Knowing that something, maybe there was a hiccup somewhere in the process, and hey, your order is actually going to arrive a little bit later than we had originally anticipated. So with that, you want to be transparent with that communication, and that starts even before the sale takes place. So being upfront with things like your inventory, costs associated with the shipping timelines. Those are all things that you can communicate pre-purchase. And then post-purchase, obviously, I touched on the order updates, shipping notifications, tracking, returns guidelines. All of these things play a really huge part in that retention piece. There's a few other things, like shipping insurance, using sustainable options, such as, maybe extended delivery times to reduce emissions or something like that. But then
Reusable packaging materials.
exactly, packaging materials is another huge area that's important, and one that could, I guess, damper the delivery experience. If you're delivering in a package that, I guess, wasn't packed properly, or a product that wasn't packed properly, and it arrives damaged or broken, I mean, that could just shatter,
Right.
the chances of you retaining that customer.
Right. Well, Greg, as we bring this whiskey shot to a close, I'd like to offer you a chance to share one final takeaway with the audience that you
Sure.
think will be worth them remembering and walking away with.
Sure. So, I guess to sum it up in a story, I like to look at e-commerce as two halves. There's inspire to order, which is all about acquisition, conversion, and then the second half would be from order to delight, and that's everything that's happening after that customer has clicked the purchase button on your website. And the story I'd like to kind of summarize that with is with the Amazon. Amazon has, for the most part, perfected that post-purchase experience.
Yeah.
And they didn't build their bones off of inspire to order. They built everything off of from order to delight by putting together the most efficient, kind of fail-proof shipping and fulfillment process ever. That and, next day delivery, 2-day delivery, it's very hard to compete with that. And it's also kind of created this new norm where customers are now expecting things to arrive sooner and to arrive at no charge to them. So it's very hard to compete, but there are things that an independent brand could do to kind of level the playing field, and you can communicate better. You can be more transparent. You can offer better packaging. You can do a lot of things to ensure that you're kind of keeping up with, I guess, what the new standard would be. And my final point on that, for all the e-commerce brands that are watching this, would be to start with the end in mind. Start with a happy customer in mind, because in my opinion, that really is the true foundation of everything, and it's where loyalty and retention and growth really stem from.
Greg, I love the framing of inspire to order and order to delight. I think that is a good theme to dig around on for a merchant, for us that are helping merchants build and grow their e-commerce channels. So I love how you framed that. That's a good solid takeaway. I love it. So
yep.
With that, we will wrap up. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Greg, thanks for being part of this and all the partnership. It's much appreciated. It's not taken for granted. We'll be back with more whiskey shots in the future. Thanks everyone. Sláinte.
Thank you. Bye.